The officials who designed Colombia's pavilion at Expo 2020 Dubai are hoping a visit to the site will help challenge stereotypes about the country. Colombia is facing an uphill battle in its fight to shrug off perceptions that it is only linked to drugs and violent crime. Those behind its pavilion at the global event say they want their visitors to have a sensory experience with connections to the country's identity and culture, as Ayanda Nyathi is about to tell and show us. Hello, Ayanda, it's over to you.
Yeah, well, interesting enough, Ramila, what we've actually just experienced at the Oscars is animation film called Encanto win Best Feature and Best Original Score, and it is actually steeped in Colombian folklore, and the individuals who actually designed the architecture behind that film say part of what they're hoping will actually come from this great win is conversations around changing the stereotypes about what Colombia is actually about. There are connections to this pavilion as well, and let me bring in our guest who knows a whole lot more about what the aim was for where we're at today. His name is Juan Javier. He is the General Commissioner of the Colombian Pavilion. Lovely to speak to you, sir. Thanks very much indeed for your time.
Delighted to welcome you here at the Colombia Pavilion.
A very popular pavilion, might I add, snaking queues from the time I first saw this pavilion 6 months ago. And I guess part of it is because from the outside it's so striking. What message were you hoping to convey to your visitors?
Well, first of all, the architect did a magnificent work in projecting this country that is 42% green, and the rest is this urban block. And so what's located here in the Opportunity Pavilion wants to show a country that is filled with opportunities, that is growing, and is growing towards the sky in terms of tourism, investments, exports, and so on.
Yeah, you're hoping to do that through the elements, you say, through air, wind. It might be water or fire, you'll remind me, but help us place how those experiences translate through a journey through this pavilion.
Well, let's say the most important part was to truly take our visitors throughout, like you said, a journey. First of all, discovering the art through the Fernando Botero exhibit that you mentioned, and then going to the different regions, the Indian region, which is the most populated area, and then the Orinoco, the Amazon, and so on, which is to show the beautiful nature of a country that is unknown. You were saying we are positioning. These expos, what they do extremely well is help countries position themselves in the minds of people. And then we finish with the warmth of the Colombians, dancing, playing the drums, and just enjoying the beaches.
Yeah, I mean, people who aren't here won't know. We actually asked for the music to be turned down because it was such a vibe at the pavilion from when we arrived. Speaking about arriving, interestingly enough, when you walk into the Opportunity District, this pavilion is among the first things you see. Do you think that helped?
It helped. I think that what really helped, definitely the position, but also the completely different structure from the standard pavilion, which sort of box,
right,
with, a dark box with experiences inside. This is a very open pavilion. Sometimes with the heat we struggle a little bit, but it clearly changes the norm as you're walking towards Al-Wazl from the Opportunity Gate.
Look, struggling with the heat in Dubai is no unique experience, so don't you worry, we can all relate.
Exactly.
But we are hitting the home stretch of what's been a eventful 6 months, dare I say. How are you measuring how successful you've been whilst here?
No, first of all, you mentioned earlier that the queues, the desire of people to discover the Colombia Pavilion and discover what's in here is already a major impact. We have had about 1.5 million contacts, visits, not only people who visited the pavilion but also who came and tasted the coffee, the juices, the ice creams, and so on, and the chocolates, which is very important. Yeah. So that one is very good. We've had a very busy agenda going all the way from the President Duque to his Vice President who was here this week, the First Lady, ministers across the government, all of them promoting what Colombia is all about. Is a country that is booming and that is filled with opportunities. We grew more than 10% last year. So we literally I reemphasize that we are repositioning ourselves as a country that needs to be discovered.
Yeah, you mentioned repositioning several times. There isn't a single country here that can say it doesn't have its fair challenges. Colombia is obviously counted among those countries, and I wonder whether or not parts of those, let's call it, difficult conversations have affected your kind of mission whilst you're here.
I think no, on the contrary. I think that precisely because people had some silly impressions, we take them by storm.
Yeah.
Because when they see what's behind the 50 million Colombians and the thousands of kilometers, then they say, wow, I never expected Colombia to be so warm, so open, so friendly. The most welcoming country in the world.
All right, your words, not mine. Thank you very much for speaking to us. Really do appreciate it.
It was a pleasure, and please come to Colombia.
Absolutely.
Expo is finishing, but Colombia is waiting for you.
Yeah, look, I've got a long queue to get through, so I better wrap up this interview, and we'll speak about that in just a moment. But for now, thanks very much indeed.
Thank you very much.
Juan Javier is, of course, the General Commissioner here at the Colombian Pavilion, and like many other countries that are positioned at the Opportunity District, they're hoping that their geographical positioning here will lead to some kind of opportunities being created. Hopefully, that will trickle down to the changing of the material conditions of the people on the ground.
Indeed. Ayanda, Nyathi, thank you very much for that update.